Hello, internet.
Hello, hello.
How are we doing?
How are you? I'm fine, but how's the internets on this cold day, night, evening, wherever you're at?
It's not that. Well, I don't know. Alexa, what's the weather forecast? Okay, so maybe it is a little cold. My bad.
Yeah, it's pretty chilly. But, with the heat going and, heated seats in the car, I stay pretty warm. That's why I like this time of year. I get to use the seats.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, must be nice for all those cool car things.
Oh, yeah. And just add on top of that, I have heated mirrors when there's ice.
All these fancy schmancy things.
But, I pay for it, sadly.
Yeah, you did. You did pay for it.
Yeah, I did pay for it.
So you can't complain. You did pay for it.
I did pay for it. It's my fault. It's my fault, people.
All right. Well, hey, it's Tuesday night. It's Scuba and The Ry. It is episode 75 of our podcast.
75.
It is. I know, right? It's a good
lot,
round number because this is our final podcast for 2020.
Yes.
As we will be taking the next couple of weeks for the holidays off. And then coming back in 2021. So all the goody fun there.
Oh yeah, get to rest and relax. It is my Christmas break from school, so
I don't know. My to-do list for break seems to get longer and longer.
nah, mine gets to get, well, I don't know. It changes.
Well, we'll see how it is. It's all
Yes.
about prioritizing.
Yeah, prioritize gaming in my book.
Yeah. I think I'm going to try and work on the World Anvil stuff. I'm going to try and get some things lined up for 2020 or for next year. It's just like all the things. So, yeah.
Lots of things.
Today we're going to have some fun. We're going to do kind of a special thing today. Chile, I would say it's probably a bit of column A and a bit of column B. Mostly studio related and D&D related stuff, but we'll see how it goes. But anyways, tonight we're gonna have some fun. We're gonna do something different. We are gonna go through our normal podcast activities. We have our list of things to talk about tonight. We've got some movies to talk about. We're gonna talk about Cyberpunk, and we're gonna talk about some news things that kind of came up, and then we're going to kind of shift over and we're gonna do some Among Us here on the podcast. I've got it queued up, ready to go. I'll give you guys the join code or all those fun things, and we'll just do a community night playing Among Us for a little while as kind of a, hey, here, let's try something different. Let's have a little fun. Let's make this kind of a holiday party, so to speak.
Party on with the Christmas
So
spirit.
before we get into that, let's do a couple of housekeeping things. First and foremost is a shout out and a thank you to everyone here in the community who's supporting us. All the follows, all the subscriptions, all the donations, all the bits, all of those things are great to help keep the lights on and keep us continuing moving forward with what we do.
Yep.
And tagging on that, a shout out and a thank you to the moderators. The moderating team has been amazing coming together this year. So this is kind of my end of year thank you to everybody who helps out and has been investing their time and energy into this. My moderator team especially, you guys are great.
Thank you.
Keeping me sane and being that sounding board to like, this is a crazy idea or this is a good idea or let's reevaluate.
Think about it.
Thank you to Ry, of course, for spending pretty much every week coming over here. I think we've only had a few weeks where he didn't come over or we didn't do a show. So, that's a pretty good track record.
Yeah.
49 to 50 weeks out of the 52. So,
Oh yeah. And even so, do it remotely. Technology.
Yeah, gotta love it. We're spending the night listening to Stream Beats, a very lo-fi Christmas again, since it's that holiday time of year. You can check them out on iTunes, Spotify, all of those places. It's DRM free music you can use for streaming or making YouTube videos or all of the things made by Harris Heller and Alpha Gaming. So go check them out. Great people. a lot of insight and information for as far as this kind of community. Yeah, that's pretty much it for announcements. Do have a programming change this Sunday when we do Sunday with Scoob. Instead of starting at 10 a.m. Eastern, we're actually going to start at 12 p.m. Eastern, so about noon. And we're just going to focus on painting the mini. There's currently a poll in the Discord, Scuba Studio Discord. If someone wants to run the thing in the chat, bang Discord. And you can come in there. We have a channel for painting, and there's a current poll for which mini I'm going to do this Sunday. It looks to be the Magma Wolf, but so if not, get your votes in for that, and go from there. I think whatever the runner-up is, that will be what I paint when we come back in January. So little change on that. We have our season finales of Shadow Watch and Challenge Accepted this Saturday, so those promises to be very exciting and interesting. So many things going on. So
lots of things here and there, but keeps it going, keeps the blood flowing.
And I've got an idea for something I'm going to try in next year. It's going to open up when we do Sunday with Scoob. I'm going to open up the Discord voice channel, so that my moderators, my cast members, and anyone who is a tier 3 subscriber here on Twitch can jump into the voice, and we can have a dialogue while I'm painting the mini. You can ask me behind the screen type questions, sit and just shoot the breeze, all of those things. And even Ry can jump in, and we can talk back and forth about any kind of shenanigans while I'm painting the minis. So
shenanigans, yes.
Something to kind of look forward to. We may do a beta test of that this Sunday. If not, definitely that'll be one of the things for next year, is opening up that voice so we can chit chat while I'm painting a mini.
Yes.
Something interesting. But again, if you're a Patreon supporter, if you're a tier 3 subscriber, if you are a moderator or a member of the studio staff, and you are or a cast member of any of the D&D streams or any of the games that I play, and you're in the Discord, you can jump in that channel and we can have dialogue. So we'll see how that goes. Well, all right, Ry, what you been up to this week? I mean, have you been getting your Christmas shopping done?
I have been doing shopping, mostly selfish shopping, but that's just because that's just what I do.
Shopping is shopping.
Yeah, just shopping for people, for things, for me. I did buy me some new running shoes because it's that time of year. Every 6 months I get new running shoes, so got some new pair. I decided let me spend a little bit more than I usually do and get some really decent ones this time, since I'm going a little harder and farther. So
do not skip out on shoes, man. Do not ever skip out on shoes.
That's the one thing I learned when I started running, is do not skip out on those running shoes. So I just decided to go one up a little more. So hopefully these different pair that I got will last me a little bit longer. But speaking of running, did another 5K over the weekend.
Congrats.
It was called,
how you feeling?
It's feeling good. Me and a fellow coworker went out to Mount Trashmore, and because of COVID, it's not a traditional 5K, it's a virtual 5K. So basically you run the 5K, and then you add your time and everything up on the website. But yeah, thank you. But next year, once the actual 5K start to come back to the norm, definitely I'm gonna look forward to doing a little bit more than 2, because I did 2 this year, so I want to add a 3rd next year. So
nice.
Probably in the summer, because a lot of them do happen in the summer. So over
32 pairs of shoes, Chili. Good lord.
That is a lot of shoes. I thought I bought my brand of choice is Puma. I love Pumas. But yeah, I've never had that many pair of shoes.
Well, me personally, I don't particularly care for the brand. I've had a lot of New Balance of recently, because I'm more interested in the build, in the build of the shoe and the support and everything. But nice fringe benefit if you work for a shoemaker and you can get the good shoes at a discount.
Hey, sometimes it's all about the inside connection. But yeah,
I've got an uncle who has worked with Red Wing for years and years and years. Had a couple of shops he ran for Red Wing, so he had the inside scoop there.
Oh yeah, it's definitely good. Yeah.
Oh, Night Rod, how you doing?
Hey, Night Road.
Night Road, Night Rod, Night Road, Night Rider.
I did read that a while back that the Puma and Adidas, the people, the two guys were brothers. So
That's kind of cool. I like that.
yeah. But yeah, Puma is my choice. Like you, it's more or less of the brand, but the comfortability with the shoe, especially the running shoes that I get, because that's where I get all my running shoes is from Puma.
Hey, if you got a brand that works and whatnot, and the fact that they support your foot and all of those things, because it's amazing how damaging running can be, but how great running can be for you.
Oh yeah.
Really catch-22.
But other than that, other than the 5K, just lots of
Libanez, thank you, my friend. Thanks for the resub. 4-month streak. Keep it going.
Thank you. Keep it on.
All those things. If you get our Prime membership for Amazon, you get a free subscription a month for Twitch. Catches you have to renew every month. So, but if you feel we're worth your Prime subscription, awesome.
Do it. What was I saying? Oh yeah. I lost my train of thought. All these subscriptions are getting me hyped. But anyways, lots of gaming. I am with school being done. I'm starting to fill in the time with some of the much needed catching up on streaming. So there's a few shows that I'm definitely going to catch up on Netflix and Prime and HBO Max. I did watch through one on Prime today, or not today, but I finished it up, called Wayne. Interesting show. Talk about that maybe later.
Okay.
Quick review of it. But other than that, filling in with a lot more anime, a lot more watching, and probably some more finishing up the Robin Williams biography, because school doesn't start back till near the end of January, so I should have enough time to finish up that biography.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, I think winter break for my kids is starting on Friday.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, this coming Friday,
Yep.
The 18th. Hey, well, if you're at home, there's really not much that happens in that week before.
Well, that, and they announced last night that the superintendent decided that when we come back from the winter break, they're gonna spend the next 2 weeks all virtual, taking what they learned from the post-Thanksgiving spike,
Yeah.
and seeing if this could curb it by not having everybody immediately right back in the classroom. Not that they're a whole lot anyway, but hey.
Hey, a little bit, mitigation goes a long way. But on the positive note, 2 vaccines are out there. So
Yes, they are starting to hit. They're starting to go. Everybody's, getting there. It's frontline workers and politicians are getting it first, and then everybody else.
I like what you said there. Catch 22.
Yeah, I mean, they think they're better than us, so yeah, they're gonna get in line.
Well, I think the healthcare workers do definitely need to get it first.
Well, I think the frontline workers, yeah, and I think politicians should wait in the freaking back of the line like all the rest of us.
Yeah, I'll be here waiting.
That's just me.
Oh no, I agree with you totally, 100% on that. But I'll be in the back just being like, yeah, chugging my drink.
Be that one lone voice in the crowd that's completely off with the tone.
Yeah, you got the drink in the hands. Yeah. I will be going bonkers the first time I walk through those amphitheater doors and screaming at whoever's on stage. So.
Yeah. Cool.
So what's been happening with the scuba?
Oh, with me, it's been game prep, and getting ready for. Last week, I spent a full day playing Cyberpunk because you gifted me the game for Christmas.
Yes,
That's an awesome Christmas present.
Oh yeah, you put it in my ear, and I was like, hey, why not?
Yeah, why not? So I put a full day into it, or I spent Wednesday watching Gamers Little Playground, and then I spent Thursday the entire day playing it. I pretty much said, no, I'm not doing anything else except playing this game today.
Yeah.
It didn't work out that way, but I was in the game pretty much most of the day. I had a few distractions because, being a parent and moderator for Realmsmith. So there were some times I had to look away to answer a question or a comment in some of the chats and then come back.
Like, you're not important. But Night City.
Well, they are important. No. The Realmsmith community is very important to me.
I'm sorry.
But it's just keeping an eye on those things. But yeah, it was doing that. We had the games. I think this Saturday the games were wild and nuts and crazy, and it was great.
Can't wait to hear.
So yeah, I'll cover that in State of Game. And then had friends come over on Sunday, and instead we didn't have enough people to play D&D, but instead we cracked open a new version of Small World. It's called Small World of Warcraft. So some interesting changes to the game. Normally with Small World you have a fold out map and that's all there. With this one, they actually, instead of they had a stack of islands with ports. So you use a combination of small, medium, and large, depending on how many players you're playing with. Okay. And you can only come onto the island via the ports. And they added some other new elements to the game, which overall wasn't bad. We got about 6 turns in, and then we had to stop because one of my friends got himself a new job, and so he has to start getting up at like 5 in the morning. So obviously we can't do late night. Yeah, I mean, it's
5:45.
The things, we all got the things. It was a lot of fun. I was playing Forsaken, so I had an interesting ability to where if I conquered another region and killed somebody from that army, then I could pay victory coins to increase the size of my army. So it was like, oh yeah, that's fun. So and then I had this thing for defensive, so I got to put these little strongholds that made them unconquerable if provided I had enough extra things. But it was a lot of fun. If you're not familiar with the game Small World, you can go check it out. Days of Wonder, I think, is the publisher, but realistically the best playthrough or introduction to that is go to YouTube, look up Tabletop by Will Wheaton. Episode 1 is actually them playing Small World with Grant Imahara. So great introduction to how that is. Harley girl, long time no see. How you doing? How you doing? Yeah, Lebanese Small World is great. I love that game. I have a copy, but I don't have all the expansions.
Really?
Yeah, there is a virtual version of most of those Days of Wonder games. Small World, Ticket to Ride, and a couple others you can get on Steam and play virtually with friends. But yeah, that was the majority of my thing. Was getting that stuff, getting those things going. I'm tracking down somebody to come and take a look at the heater in the house, because way back a few weeks ago I had some electrical surges in the property, and turns out it was some loose wires from the transformer. Well, I think because most furnaces in residential run off 240, and one of the 120 lines was surging, so it might have damaged my heater. So I'm gonna have to have someone come take a look at the HVAC. And one guy I was back and forth on, he's got a lot of stuff going on in his personal life, so he wasn't able to come out. He actually, it's like, I'm not gonna be able to do it, can you find somebody else? I sent an email, didn't get a response. Then he's like, hey, I think I can. Great, can you come? He never shows up. It's like, oh, sorry, drama. Like, all right. So I called up somebody else, and they're gonna try and come out on Monday. So yeah, all space heaters all the time.
Yeah, and gotta stay warm, especially with the temperature dropping. Some way.
Versus. But yeah, that's pretty much been my thing. It's just kind of doing the things. Been cleaning up a lot more around here. I mean, the studio is a lot cleaner than it was, and a lot better to get started. So, and of course I painted the mini on Sunday, which was a dragon skull hermit crab, which I thought was really cool. Paint job came out really well. So far, a lot of people liked it.
Yeah, you say crab, and I think of that one game.
Yeah, that's been on my mind too. Yokai Bunny with that fight crab.
Oh yeah.
Or fight crab. Yeah, it's like, that's wild.
That's what you call a derail from sequences. It is on I did put it in my Steam list to purchase at some point, but not today. Not today.
15,000 purses. Good Lord, Harley girl. I hope you're getting a little bit of rest in.
That's a lot of purses.
From what I remember with her job, it's like, yeah, that could be a little rough. Oh, that's good. Glad you're getting rest. I'm glad you're hanging out with us. It's been a while.
Yeah. Get to see us.
Well,
our two faces.
Well, let's talk about some movies. Let's move into our reviews. What do you say?
Yeah. Yeah, let's get down and dirty.
Let's get to the reviews. Got a surprise for you.
Surprise.
Surprise. We're going to talk about Ava first. This is a new movie that came out on Netflix not too long ago. It's kind of your spy action thriller bit.
Oh yeah, it's a mixture of all those.
So Ry, why don't you lead us off? Tell us about your review. And if you're curious about checking out other reviews Ry does, go to ryreviews.com, all one word. You can see all the various reviews that he's done, and some of them are quite interesting topics of debate and is informative.
Yeah. There's positive, negatives, and then when it's a bad movie, I go all out.
We're not going to talk about that movie.
Yeah.
We're not talking about that movie.
No, we're not talking about that movie, but we're talking about this movie.
Yeah, let's talk about this one.
Talking about, a femme fatale going around kicking people's butts. So Ava is a Netflix original, which just came out on Netflix, and it stars Jessica Chastain in the role of the titular character Ava. She is known as a deadly assassin who is supreme at her craft, and she works for a black ops organization, no name, no explanation. And
most of them don't really need one. They're all about the same.
Yeah, they're pretty much.
But this one kind of has a vibe of like John Wick.
Yeah, a little bit of John Wick, a little bit of Jason Bourne, and slight Mission Impossible, all mixed into one. What happens here is this takes place a little bit after, her getting into the role of assassins and doing, it has a montage of all her assassination attempts. One assassination attempt doesn't go as planned, so now it's basically the whole film centers around a race against time where she is dealing with the fallout of this mission. So not only does she try to reconnect with her original past, she also has this organization that's bearing down on her that wants to take her out because of this faux pas of an assassination attempt. Basically, this film is very much a prototypical action espionage thriller. So think of Jason Bourne, John Wick, and any other kind of action espionage thriller, and throw it in here and strip it down to having one strong main lead and everything else just pretty much typical archetypes from those genres. So basically what you have is Ava goes back home to Boston and she's trying to recuperate from her last mission. But at the same time, when you get introduced to her backstory and her family and a little bit of this like secondary side story, the main plot that centers around John Malkovich's and Colin Farrell's character, they're going butting heads on what they should do with Ava. Should they keep her in the organization or should they take her out? So there's this tug of war at the top over this one character, but on the down low, on the surface level, you get to actually see a very poignant, detailed characterization of an assassin. Because what you find out is Ava, even though she is the prototypical agent, she does have a lot of flaws. She has drug habits, she has family issues, she has a lot of this stuff in between that adds a little bit of girth to the basic storytelling of an espionage thriller. But through a bulk of the film, it does get convoluted, and a lot of convenient plot setups have the plot moving quickly in one direction, which leaves not really a lot of time to give depth to all the other characters in her life. Even with that straddling the line of action and drama, what makes this film endearing, at least to me, makes it enjoyable to a point, is Ava. I think Jessica Chastain does a great job in balancing both the assassin role and who she is as a flawed human being, because of her drug habits, because of her past, because of what causes all the strife in both her family and the agency. So when everything comes to head in the end, it leads into a confrontation with Colin Farrell's character Simon, which is a pretty good action sequence because it all takes place in an apartment. But it wraps up in a very convenient place where if you're following the outline of this film, you can pretty much call out every scene leading up to the heavy foreshadowed epilogue of a supposed sequel. Take it away, Scuba.
Yeah. I actually kind of enjoyed this one. And yes, it is very cookie cutter. I mean, we have seen so many different variations, this basic formula. It doesn't feel all that unique. But that being said, the unique elements is the fact that unlike your typical trope of the main character being a loner and a prodigy who's picked up by black ops in some way, for some form or fashion, this one, she is someone you see who's a valedictorian. She is a prodigy, but then she gets hooked on drugs and alcohol and falls down to the bottom. And then and then joins the military after that. But the fact that we have someone who is dealing with addiction, and it's a forefront in a lot of her processes and dealing with someone who's an addict, because that's not something that is like, oh well, I stopped using, I'm good. And like, no, you're always sliding, and you see her get tempted multiple times and you actually kind of root for it. But I thought it was very kind of refreshing to see see that element in it. And then there are moments that it's just, okay, let's just have a little brevity to these things, like the aforementioned fight. It's actually a hotel room, not an apartment.
Okay.
Because she's staying at she pretty much lives out of a suitcase.
Yeah.
Go figure. But the whole fight with her and Simon, after she just had all this stuff with her family and making peace with certain elements of her family and making peace with what she's become, I think is some interesting elements. And just their whole banter back and forth is just, it's really kind of comical and humorous. And so much of if you don't, it's one of those things, you're probably best to just leave well enough alone. And it's when someone doesn't leave well enough alone that it comes back to bite them. And this is a great example of that, because the whole conflict between Simon and Duke, it's like Duke is like, look, just leave her alone. Oh, yeah. Just give her some time. And he's like, no, she screwed up. She's doing this thing that's against protocol. It's against what management wants.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, we don't do it. And yeah, he did it and he paid for it. But check it out. It's a lot of fun. The vibe for John Wick is from the fact, the whole organization, the whole way this thing is organized. They talk about these contacts are closed. Upper management is not happy. This code, that code. So it sounds like an executive firm versus the high table. But I think this is great as a one-off. Everything kind of wraps up in a nice little bow, so we don't need to continue down this. But it's not a very unique film. We've seen these before. They're great character pieces in different elements. There are parts of it that are kind of the past and the present meeting, and then it's like there are several moments where it's just like this, the people make assumptions on this person who vanished 8 years ago and then comes back. And when she comes back, when she gets triggered to do certain things, everybody's like, who are you? Where have you been? What the heck happened?
Yeah, there are parts where it's just a jumbling of typical espionage tropes, and then there are points where it is strong with the character and the drug abuse and the back and forth between Duke and Simon.
And things about betrayal.
Oh yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of undercurrents of betrayal in this, and that emotional baggage that comes with that. But overall, Ry, what did you give the film?
Overall, this is a very by the books action thriller film. It is fun and enjoyable. It's a good watch at home. I wouldn't go past a Friday night, so 2.5 out of 5 Friday night rental.
Me, I gave it a 3.0. because I think some of the family dynamic and that is part of this, and again, putting a focus on someone who's dealing with addiction in this role is kind of refreshing take on the character build. So that's why I'm giving it a 3 out of 5. So matinee, that's probably what your matinee rating.
3 out of 5 is matinee.
Yeah, so it's a great Netflix film. Probably have a different opinion if for a theatrical release, but then again, right now theatrical releases, you kind of need something. So this is a very niche film anyway.
Yeah.
But now that we've got that done, we've got another review, and now this is going to be an interesting review because this is a movie I've seen. And what did you just do? This is a movie I have seen, but not a movie Ry has seen yet.
Nope, I haven't. It was one I planned to watch, but what happened was Cyberpunk happened. So
he's got to blame. He's blaming Cyberpunk.
It's a good blame. It's a good blame.
I'm not arguing that, but we'll get to that.
Yeah.
But this is another Netflix film that just came out. It's called Jingle Jangle. This time of year we get all kinds of holiday films that come out. This one is a musical. I wouldn't call it a musical Wall-E. This is it's kind of a different element. We have Forrest Whitaker and Keenan. Oh, what is this? From Keenan and I can't remember his full name, but I know I had this here.
Let's look it up.
Yeah, look it up on IMDb.
Let's see. So you had Forrest Whitaker, Keegan-Michael Key from
That's
Key
it.
and
Keegan-Michael Key. It is a musical. It's just not the little robot dude. He actually has a fairly minor part in the whole film. Let's be honest, but this is kind of a blending of a different way of telling a Christmas carol. You have Forrest Whitaker. Forrest Whitaker's character is a toy maker, an eccentric toy maker who is betrayed by Keegan-Michael Key's character, and years have gone by and he's lost everything, and he's just kind of bitter and hasn't really had that spark of imagination until his granddaughter comes along, who kind of shows him again what it's like to believe in the fantastical. So overall, though, this isn't a bad. This is one of those things you kind of seen this magical journey, refinding and rediscovering the joy of being a kid in the season and imagination, and it's really kind of fun. The music is amazing. It's got a very Hamilton vibe to it. So if you're a fan of the music of Hamilton, you'll see some of that in this. And some of the others. I thought it was really good, but I was thinking about it. This felt like another film, and we were talking about this offline, is Mr. Magoo's Wonder Emporium, which is a film that came out in 2007, had a very similar kind of feel. Eccentric toy maker, world of magic and mystery, or magic and wonderment, and then we have this. He's trying to rediscover the spark that had him as a great inventor, showcasing family, talking about loss, and getting over and stop dwelling on what you lost, look at what you have, and all kinds of shenanigans ensue. I think the breakout character is the girl who plays the granddaughter. This is her first film, so this is her introduction, and she nailed it. She nailed it from the singing. She nailed it from the choreograph. She just nails it, in my opinion. So, Ry, what are your impressions?
My impressions is like you had me at if you're a fan of Hamilton, because I was a supreme. I watched that on Disney Plus like 3 times in a row. It sounds like it's a very fun, a recycled fun adventure. Definitely a twist with adding, like, it feels like a Christmas Carol spun in with toy magic and musical flavor.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of fun. I would say it's probably a solid like if you're a fan of musicals and you're a fan of this kind of Christmas thing, as a Christmas film, I call it a 3.5. There were points that had me rolling. There were points that I was just like, oh wow. And then there are a lot of interesting Easter eggs in here for other films that these actors have done. But great film to check out. It's on Netflix. It's about 2 hours of your time, but it's enjoyable. It got me in the feels a few times with some of the talk of family and how it's like you're broken and you're trying to recapitalize after loss. It's really a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's definitely one that I've been wanting to watch. Just other things have gotten in the way. Might catch it sometime this week and throw up my review later on my website.
Awesome. That's always good.
And a few others along the way until next episode.
Well, we're going to move into our next thing, which is State of Game.
State of Game.
And we're going to start off with Cyberpunk 2077.
Night City.
So, oh wow. Let's do a quick fix on that. Let's see. While I'm doing that, Ry, tell us about your experience with Night City.
With Cyberpunk 2077. Well, I was going to play it a day of, but a couple other fun announcements dropped that day, so I played it the day after, and then the day after, and then the day after. Cyberpunk 2077 is what's the way I put it? It's an engrossing experience. Mr. Chelly says it's super slow for a bit. I get distracted in games like this. There's a meme that I showed you that represents when you're heading off to save the Wonderland. Yeah, that threw me off. Off to save the kingdom, and then side quests. And just within the initial setting, once you get into just the one part, yeah, there's a lot of just a navigation and just finding random things to do, which I like, and it's packed with content, which I appreciate. The one thing I do like is the fact of how you have to the customization. The customization is that good balance of deep but efficient, which is nothing that I wouldn't expect, because they did make The Witcher 3, which gave the perfect balance of RPG for me, and I'm feeling the same way here. Depending on which route you go to when you're, building out your character model and working through the missions, what I do appreciate is the fact that there is a plethora of weapons. And the fact that you can just stick with a handful of weapons and just keep leveling them up, which reminds me a lot of The Division. The one thing that engrosses you into this game is the decisions, and just the initial playthrough, you can see that every decision you make, even the subtle thing of refusing somebody's drink, can have a big impact a few conversations down the road. So I do appreciate that the epitome of choice, which is one of the things that a lot of the reviews were pointing out, is that choice is pertinent in what you do here.
This one, choice is king, no doubt.
Choice is king, and no matter what choice you make, it doesn't matter it's a good or bad choice. It's just there is an outcome, and there will be an outcome of some sorts. And especially when eventually Johnny Silverhand comes into play. Did I say his name right?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, when he comes into play, because I was curious how they were going to incorporate him, and when they incorporate him, I'm not going to spoil it for anybody that hasn't gotten that far or hasn't gotten the game, but it's a very, I think, of a comical but rewarding experience on how he tags along with you on your journey.
Yeah. So which path did you start with?
I can't remember right now.
You have Street Kid.
Street Kid. Okay.
You have Street Kid, Outlander, and then Corporate.
I was going to do Outlander. Corporate didn't vibe with me. I was like, yeah, that's too typical. So I was like, I went Street Kid.
Yeah, I went Outlander
Yeah.
because I like wide open spaces and I like all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of fun with the game too. Yeah, Nomad. It's Outlander Nomad, but yeah, I did the Nomad and got the game. Spent Wednesday watching Gamers Little Playground. At first, I was a little hesitant on watching it, but then the more I watched it, the more I realized that the choices you make will change. And even they said they had 7 different endings when they did their playthrough. So, and they're going to do a few more, but that made me feel a little bit better about playing the game. And then playing it on my own, it's just like, I spent 12 hours just to get through Act 1.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of feeling buyers. I'm kind of regretting. I think I went through it too fast.
You think so? I don't even know if I'm out of Act 1 or not, but I know.
You're out of Act 1 when Johnny Silverhand starts showing up.
So then I am.
But I think I went through Act 1 too fast because there were so many different side quests and I kept falling in those rabbit holes.
Yeah.
So 3 hours getting to the apartment makes sense.
Yeah, it's just one of those games where it's so lively and so just like vast and a lot of colorful things that will catch you off guard. One of the great fun things I like doing is when I'm going around and I'm busting up, city crime, and I just show up on people and just start wailing on them for the common good, maybe. I find that fun.
Yeah. Yep. And you have to be careful because if you shoot civilians, the cops will show up. I had that happen once.
Oh yeah, I had that happen once. I ran into a cop, and then I just kept shooting at cops, and then the next tier came after me, and I just kept shooting back until I died.
So far we're having fun. Now here's an interesting bit: is there's been a lot of chatter about the graphics quality on certain consoles.
Yeah.
And it was like, we're both playing on the Xbox One. Baseline Xbox One, and I have to say the graphics haven't been that bad.
I have had no different issues than any day one game I've played on the Xbox One.
And I've had it crash 3 times.
Twice.
One time I was talking to Dex and trying to pick up a shiny thing on a table and it caused it to crash. And then there was a couple of times I restarted save so I could do something I should have done before because I didn't like the way the story was going and I wanted to change my path. Which was interesting. I mean, it literally that if you choose not to do something, it will affect you later. Titan, I have it on Xbox One. I haven't had a problem with the graphics. There's stuff out there where saying like people's faces don't show up and things like that. I haven't had that problem.
Yeah.
I haven't had any issue running the game in terms of graphic quality. I've had bugs, but bugs are kind of expected on launch. I mean, one of my favorite ones is you get there when Jackie pulls the biochip out of his head and gives it to you. Well, the game glitched and he was holding his gun and put it in his head and then pulled it out so that it was still kind of stuck in his head. There's a few things like that.
Yeah, to me, I call those just a typical cosmetics. They don't take away from the enjoyment because I'm still going to go running and gunning and building my character. So...
I mean, depending on how fast you go, like if you're, but I honestly haven't seen a whole lot of those kind of issues. Now it could be now that I'm in the second phase, Act 2, then I would be like, okay, maybe there's more, but so far I really enjoyed it. I mean, I burned 12 hours in that game and actually more than 12 hours, I think. So much time in there and I didn't feel like I was slogging through anything. It was, okay, where's this lead? Where's that lead? How do I approach this? How do I do that? How many different times can things go completely sideways? Because I got a little too trigger happy when I should have been a little more stealthy.
Yeah, I do stealthy and then I was like, screw it, and just start wailing on everybody. That's me though. I love the default setting when you start the game is hard. That I thought was an absolutely hilarious bit.
It's like most games start off at normal and then you get to move to hard. No, this one's like, nope, we're gonna start off at hard mode. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm not a very good gamer, so I'm not brave enough to do hard mode, so I went with normal. Although I do kind of like the philosophy. It started on the hardest setting because games should be challenging. I'm not thinking I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, that's how I was with the Jedi Fallen Order. I thought I could bang the buck, and then I lowered that setting down because I wanted to finish the game.
Yeah, I'm doing normal because I'm having fun. If I get around to a second playthrough, then maybe I'll bump it up.
Yeah, I might go hard later, but like nowadays, I keep it around normal because I just want to just sit back and just enjoy the game.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not worried about being OP or anything. I just want to just go around and enjoy the game.
Yeah, I'm all about enjoying. I'm right there with you. I'm all about enjoying. But so I'm liking this. I don't have much of an opinion on my own opinion on Johnny Silverhand, but I do know that talking about this game, and I got to ask you. This game has a lot of character customization, and this was some of us have heard about the level of customization you can have on this game. Some of it is other, but you know, it's been like this trope, like how well you can customize characters. I gotta say, there are certain customizable options on this game that I thought were really, really useless. I mean, cosmetically, but I see no practical use of that level of customization. But then again,
some of the customization, when I came across certain customization, I was just like, that is interesting, but I appreciate choice. That's what I said.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Even if there's no point of it, I appreciate the choice.
Okay, I will concede that. I'm just saying, me personally, it's kind of useless.
Yeah, it's kind of useless.
But
anybody that plays the game and has built their character knows what we're talking about. We don't even have to say or do any innuendos or say anything. All we have to do is just say customization.
But I will say though, I probably am not going to stream this game because I cannot turn off enough settings to make it more family friendly, because I try to be family friendly on my streams.
Yeah, this game ain't family friendly.
This game is not happening. This is straight up explicit no matter what setting you pick. So it's a hard M rating, if not beyond, just from the environment, let alone the dialogue.
Yeah, I'm enjoying this game so far. And it's a great compliment because at the same time I'm I have Cyberpunk, and before I hit monotony, I jump right over to Valhalla and go rampaging with my Viking there. So I am enjoying both because they have both complementary stories, very good stories, very good characterization, very good RPG elements in both, and just the vast open world in both. So it's a good complement to one and the other. With Valhalla, I have conquered most of England so far, so I think I'm nearing the end of that game after about 50 plus hours in it so far.
That's not bad.
Yeah. So yeah, I can't wait to finish Valhalla. I want to go back and finish the last part of that Asgard storyline that you told me about, Scuba, because I'm almost done with it. And props that did fill in a lot of gaps. You told me it fills in a lot of gaps. It does fill in a lot of gaps.
Well, that's good. That's good. Glad you're enjoying that. And yeah, I think all of us can agree. Cyberpunk is nowhere near family friendly. And I think any parent who buys this for a minor needs to really understand what they're getting involved in, because I remember back when Grand Theft Auto 5 came out, and I remember working at GameStop for a season when it came out and having multiple conversations with parents over the fact that their little 15-year-old kid wanted, or in some cases younger, wanted this game because it was the coolest game to come out. And I was like, are you kidding? This is a game about carjacking. At its core is carjacking.
Yeah. Carjacking. Running and gunning and shooting.
And now we're gonna now skip ahead 5 years. Or has it been 5 years? It's been more than 5 years at this point.
GTA 5?
Yeah.
It came out at the tail end of the 360 era, so 2015.
All right, 5 years.
2014.
5-6 years.
Yeah.
And now we're gonna skip into Cyberpunk.
Yeah. No. Don't. If you are a parent, and I have played a lot of mature games through the ages, this is not one to start off on a 10-year-old.
Oh God, no. No.
I'm only speaking from experience.
No. There is, trust me, Mayflower, there is nothing.
How old is her brother?
I know them.
Okay.
I know her and her brother. Straight up, you should probably have them give me a call if they want to talk, if they want to get an opinion on Cyberpunk before they get it, because yeah, COD is middle school compared to Cyberpunk.
Yeah, COD is Teletubbies to this game.
This game is, it'll get you. There's a whole sequence with Johnny Silverhand that is like, oh wow, they went there.
Oh yeah, they go pretty far with Johnny Silverhand, and he is pretty much out there. Especially, yeah, that's all I gotta say.
That's good. You don't want to play, but you know, it gets a little.
So
It gets a little graphic, but you know, we beat that to death at this point.
Yeah. But outside of that,
Cyberpunk is a great game.
Yeah.
It really is a great game.
Cyberpunk is even with its glitches, it's still a fun game.
Yeah, I can't wait for some of the patches to come out.
Keanu Reeves voices Johnny Silverhand.
Yep, Keanu is Johnny Silverhand, and I'm holding judgment on my own opinion of his performance. I don't think it's bad. From what I have seen, I know some people would say he's a little stiff compared to some of the other voice actors.
It's Keanu, you know.
Granted, but I definitely have a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to those interactions.
I'm gonna rock out tonight. You know.
Yeah, I'm wondering if I even get that quest.
I don't know. Maybe. Who knows?
It's choices. I'm not sure. That's the thing. That was the thing about this. Is like I watched somebody else's playthrough, and it's like I'm not sure if I'm even gonna get the same quest options.
Oh yeah, I'm just curious to see how this if I ever get a hold of a Series X, how it plays on there.
I can't wait for that. But yeah, if you want to wait for them to get more patches out, definitely give it a few months for a sale or something. I'm sure it'll hit a sale probably within 2-3 months.
Yeah, there's gonna be 2 more bigger patches in January and February. That's what they said.
So I'll take my time working through it.
Oh yeah, I'll take my time. I do have Valhalla and another game sitting there, Watchdog Allegiance, that I could go back to too. So
Yep.
So many choices. And I'm thinking about picking up Hades.
Hades is a lot of good from what I hear.
Yeah. Put it on the Switch.
So yeah, another thing real quick for State of Game is talking about the D&D games from this past weekend. We had Challenge Accepted and Shadow Watch. Shadow Watch is somebody on see, when we play D&D games here on this channel, viewers have the option to interact with the game via bits, channel points, donations, subbing, following, all those fun things. Somebody actually redeemed a wandering monster, which completely changed the encounter for the first half of the show.
Let's hear about it.
So I originally planned the encounter with intellect devours, and because of the wandering monster and rolling on the table, we added hook horrors to the mix. So the party had to deal with both hook horrors and intellect devours in the first battle, and it was 7 intellect devours and 9 hook horrors. That went pretty crazy, but it was fun. And I had to fast track a couple other things, and I had to get through another map I had built out where they, with some clever stealth, they managed to avoid awakening a really nasty beast that was hibernating in a hole nearby.
Well, that's good.
Oh yeah, it was great.
It sounded like disastrous if that would have happened.
Yep. And they came across a black pudding and a roper engaged in a fight. So it was like, you come down the hallway, you see these two things fighting each other. What do you do? And it's like, yeah, we're just gonna skirt around the side and be like, yeah, no. But this Saturday is going to be their kind of end of year finale. The deep gnomes they have been hired to escort and protect while they collapse tunnels have been taken. They need to try and find them before they die, so they're rushing through to do this. So we'll see what happens.
Definitely want to see how it ends up.
It should be fun. It's Saturday morning, 10 a.m. Get your, if you want to help them out, they haven't had time for a long rest. They're starting to get a little spent. So the tricksters will be needed to kind of keep them. And that wasn't intentional. It just be how things kind of played out. Challenge accepted, on the other hand, has found the murderer who is hiding in a extravagant party. So they're trying to track him down within the mansion. They've got a couple hours left before the deadline, and time runs out to try and collect this knife they're looking for. So we're going to see how that plays out and whether or not they will get out of Paradon and out of the Dread domains intact, relatively speaking.
Hobble away, people. Hobble away.
I got a couple of surprises in store. So
the scuba surprise is always.
I've been spending time reading the monster manuals.
There you go.
So we all know that's going to be fun.
I look forward to it.
Yeah, should be loads of fun on that. But that covers State of Game. I don't know about that one, but that might be interesting. That might be interesting for season 3. Instead of going to D&D, we'll go to Shadowrun.
Interesting.
I'm not familiar enough with Shadowrun to run a game, but yeah, that might be fun. They go through the portal and wind up in the future, as in Shadowrun.
You're like, what is this? I don't understand.
I went from a world of swords and magic to, wait a minute, I can hack things?
I can fly?
What?
I can meet.
This is just crazy.
What are robots?
Robots are a lot of things. But all right. So next up on our to-do list, we have a couple of media type things to talk about.
Some big announcements.
Actually, I think these two are kind of like the two big things from last week.
Yeah, they were definitely stuff that came out of left field. Well, at least for me, one of them did. I didn't.
All right, so we'll go through the first one. Last week, Disney had a shareholders call. They called it Investor Day 2020.
Oh yeah.
And if you hadn't heard, they decided to just back up a dump truck and unload a whole lot of stuff in this investor call.
Plus another dump truck of a lot of stuff. On top of that.
One wasn't good enough. They had to do two.
They had to do two dump.
So, Ry, why don't you start us off with your highlights from the investor call?
From the investor call, basically at this call, it was pretty much a plethora of content that's going to be dumped on us on Disney Plus throughout the next 2-3 years. Couple highlights from it is, one of the big things that they announced is Star. And if you're not familiar with Star, that it's probably because Star is the international brand for Disney around the world. Basically, this is going to be the banner where they're going to stick a lot of their content for their international markets in both Latin America, over in Asia, Europe, Canada, and also this is going to be another thing on the Disney Plus, another moniker along that branch of Disney, Star Wars, National Geographic, etc., etc. And basically, it's going to offer a lot of more PG-13 and higher content that is not children friendly. And also, it's going to host a lot of localized content for the specific areas. So that'll bring in a lot more people, a lot more content, a lot more variety for Disney. Going down the line, some of the big highlights for me, Star Wars, obviously.
Well, let's preface that. They said they're going to have 10 different Star Wars projects, 10 Star Wars series,
Yes.
10 Marvel series, and
Yeah.
15 live action Disney animation, Pixar, as well as 15 Disney live action, 15 different movies and series and all kinds of craziness. They also announced that the next Walt Disney Animation Studio film, Raya and the Last Dragon, is going to be doing, when it releases in March, it's going to be in theater and on the Disney Plus premiere same day.
Yeah, and you know, they're going to try to you know, get as many people to watch that as they can. It does look very good. It does incorporate a lot of lore and mythology from Southeast Asia and the Asian Pacific Islander group, so that'll definitely have a special place in my heart, having heritage from the Philippines. But speaking of Star Wars, there was a lot of great things they dropped in here. They have the spin-off shows from The Mandalorian, Rangers of the New Republic, and Ahsoka. But the things that caught my eye, the ones that I'm looking forward to, is the Acolytes, which is going to be a series set at the end days of the High Republic, but from the Sith's perspective. And also the announcement of the next Star Wars movie, Rogue Squadron, that is going to be directed by no other than Patty Jenkins. Take it away, Scuba.
To answer that comment in there, yes, it is going to be $29.99, just like they did with Mulan for the Disney premiere. So we'll see how that goes. As far as the properties and stuff, I was actually kind of excited. I was actually real excited because they're going to do the Bad Batch. They had a sizzle reel for that.
Oh yeah, that looks pretty cool.
The various Marvel series and how they're picking up steam, and they've got more casting and more information about those. But it's just, there's so much stuff to talk about from this, and so many things where it's like, and this is like the next 3 to 5 years. This is the next 2 to 3 years out. All of these things that are coming.
Oh yeah. Some of the ones that I'm looking forward to, just to pinpoint, they are putting a live action Pinocchio, and
with Tom Hanks
as Geppetto. I'm saying that right?
Yep.
Geppetto, directed by Robert Zemeckis. If you know who he is, he did the Back to the Future franchise. It's going to be on Disney Plus. Little Mermaid live action's coming to Disney Plus. Cruella, so it's going to be 101 Dalmatians from her perspective, live action on Disney Plus. Some of the other things that I am looking forward to is that they're doing a Zootopia series, a Baymax series, which is a sequel to Big Hero 6. This is a special place in my heart. I have grew up watching Toy Story since I was a kid, so every iteration of the film has mimicked my growth as a person. But what they're going to do, Pixar is going to release a Buzz Lightyear origin film that is going to be based on an actual astronaut that influenced the character, the toy Buzz Lightyear.
Yep, because voiced by Chris Evans.
Yep.
Couple other things is they have, if you're a fan of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia,
This is good news.
They ordered 4 more seasons, making it the longest running live action sitcom in television history.
Yeah.
They're going to do a series adaptation of the Alien franchise.
That caught me off guard. Actually, that was one of the ones I was like, wait, what? And Ridley Scott's coming back.
Yup. So
there's a lot of great things, and just to end it on at least a high note for me, which I called, which I thought that was going to be the first one to come back, is that there was officially announced a Fantastic Four film being released within the MCU, but by the director of the last 2 Spider-Man films, John Watts.
Yep. So it'll be interesting to see all this stuff, all these series, all these films through these different phases. So lots of fun there.
Oh yeah.
Our next thing to talk about is while the investor call happened, they also did a little thing called the Game Awards.
The Game Awards.
So we have the 2020 Game Awards and all the various winners and whatnot. And surprise, surprise, The Last of Us Part 2 did a sweep and got was nominated for 10 different things and took most of them.
Yeah, it took most of them. The biggest prize which was Game of the Year, and the 5 games that were nominated this year were Doom Eternal, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, Animal Crossing New Horizon, and the winner, Last of Us Part 2.
Yeah, Last of Us Part 2 to Game of Year, game direction, narrative, and audio design, performance. Was Laura Bailey, who played Abby in Last of Us Part 2. Quite a few of them. Some shockers on this was I personally, I thought Ghost of Tsushima would have had a few more awards, but something that kind of, we were talking about this surprising, is in the category of best ongoing, No Man's Sky took it.
Yeah.
And it was up against Apex Legends, Destiny 2, Call of Duty Warzone, and Fortnite.
That really surprised me, because Fortnite is basically ruling the world in the gaming sphere right now, and to see that No Man's Sky got the award over Fortnite is just the epitome of the people that have worked on the game since day one, building it from where it was to what it is today.
Yeah. Hey, Laura has been rocking it. She was nominated last year for her role in Gears 5. So it was she's nailing it. And best indie film went to Hades. Not a big surprise there. Hey, what do you know? The best mobile game was Among Us, which we're going to play that in a few minutes.
And it just brings a very nostalgic place in my heart when I was scrolling down the list and saw that for best sports racing, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 got it, because that re-release of that game package and that deal, it's a really fun game.
Yeah, No Man's Sky has been quite the history.
Yes,
because
had the history.
When they were set to launch, their studio burned down. And they had to try and figure out what to do with that.
Oh yeah. So I definitely might try it out after playing a million hours in the couple games that I have, because it is on Game Pass. So
don't mind me.
Oh no, you're fine. You're fine. But yeah, there's a lot of interesting winners in this thing. Anything stand out to you in the chat? I put both links for the Disney announcements and the Game Awards in the chat, so if you want to check them out. Did you think any other game should have won best game of the year other than Last of Us Part 2, Scuba? Or
the thing is I wasn't I can see why they won. I just wasn't personally all that impressed with how they did it. Yeah.
I can only speak from the games I played on that list, but I think Ghost of Tsushima should have won, because overall the experience of that game was one that from end to end was great. Dark Horse would have been Final Fantasy VII Remake, but it isn't a complete game because it's only a third of the full game. So, but it's cool to see that it did get Best RPG. So, nods to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely a lot of just good content coming down the pipeline with Disney Plus. I'm definitely looking forward to that. They did announce today that on Disney Plus they're going to do a reboot of Firefly.
Oh yeah, that was a thing they were talking about. They were going to do
I didn't play Doom Eternal. I played the other Doom, which was fun, but I think Doom Eternal is on Game Pass, so I might check it out too.
So yeah, Doom Eternal's there, so it's all fun there.
But yeah, with that, definitely fun times ahead. Heading into the holiday, last few weeks of the year, the holidays. Definitely going to jump into my holiday tradition, which is watch a couple movies on Christmas or Christmas weekend. The two movies are pretty obvious which the two movies I'm gonna watch on the Christmas weekend. So for those of you who don't know, the two big movies coming out on Christmas Day is Wonder Woman 1984 and Soul. Wonder Woman on HBO Max and in theaters, and Soul is going to be on Disney Plus. Home Alone 1 and 2 definitely back to back. But my Christmas tradition, which I might bring back this year, I haven't done it in a while, and I'll definitely will probably have time to do it, is watch the Lord of the Rings trilogy. I haven't done that in a while.
You haven't done that in a while? Dude, I do that every year. That is what I do.
Oh yeah, I would do it, but you know, other things come into play. But this year I definitely will have the times. Die Hard or Gremlins? Die Hard, no question, is a Christmas movie.
Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
Anybody that argues otherwise, it doesn't even need to.
They don't understand.
They don't understand the truth. They don't understand the significance of that as a holiday movie. Speaking of holiday movies, another one that I consider a holiday movie, but on a different note, is because I just like to laugh, is Bad Santa. That's another one I want to throw in the pot. As a holiday movie tradition, I watch every once in a while on the holidays. So, Home Alone 2 I haven't watched in a while. I think it's on one of the streaming services.
Yeah, Disney Plus.
Go figure. Disney owns everything. Why would I even ask that question? Just log into Disney Plus. It's gonna be there.
Disney Plus, or it's on Netflix.
Max?
Oh, HBO Max might have to. Pretty much all of them will have it at this point.
Yeah.
But
it's literally, if you have just that, you have the Disney bundle, Netflix, and HBO Max, you're covered.
See, Chili confirmed it. Home Alone 1, 2, and 3 are all on Disney Plus. See?
I just need 1 and 2. You can keep 3.
Yeah, 3 kind of felt like it was, oh, let's try to recapture this and amp up the ante of the first one. Yeah. But, you know, the first one's a classic, and it was made around Macaulay Culkin. Oh, yeah. I mean, let's be serious.
Home Alone 1 and 2, I watch Home Alone 2 religiously. A lot, so I could almost quote that movie. But no, those don't even exist, Shelly.
We don't talk about those.
But
that's just franchise fatigue.
But yeah, definitely looking to cash in on Wonder Woman and Soul. I'll have my reviews up on my website if y'all feel like you want to check them out. Those reviews will be up during the week after. And also my top 10 of 20 for 20 will be posted or after New Year's. This is going to be an interesting year. I have obvious ones that will be on the list and some interesting choices to make.
Yeah, you're right, Lubanez. When I saw 4, 5, and 6, I thought classic Star Wars trilogy. And we will see you in after the new year. So thank you everybody for your support so far. Have a great holiday season. Love each other. Do all the things, and we will see you on our next stream. Good night, everybody.
Peace.
Sweet. Uploading data. What? Oh, that was dirty. Finish your task. Oh, I can still do tasks when I'm dead? Oh, I love that.